All right, with trigonometry, we can find a side or an angle. So in this case, we're going to find a side. And there's 5 steps involved with the finding a side. The first thing you need to do is label your triangle. So we'll do that down here. I've got the angle. This one's opposite, so it's opposite, and this one's adjacent. Notice I haven't marked this side here because I don't have anything there, and if I put something there it's just going to confuse me, so we're not going to mark that side. Select the correct ratio. I'm going to write SOHCAHTOA up here. I need a ratio, I've written it wrong. I need a ratio that involves adjacent and opposite. So I'm dealing with tan. Opposite over adjacent. So I've selected the correct ratio and I've written the equation, that's what this is, and now I need to substitute. Tan of the angle's 57 in this case, the opposite is H and the adjacent is 7. So I've done step 4. If the unknown is the numerator, which it is, it's up the top, this is the numerator, times. So H will be 7 times tan 57, and I go to my calculator, 7 times tan 57, and it's 10.7 or 10.8, which makes sense because this length here is, this one's 7. If this one was 85, you'd be going, what's going wrong here? Let's have a look at the next example. Label your sides. I've got opposite the right angle, so I've got the hypotenuse, and I've got next to the angle, so I've got the adjacent. So come up to our SOHCAHTOA, and it's got to be cos, and I'll come up here. Cos theta equals adjacent on hypotenuse. Write down the equation. Substitute. The angle's 20. Adjacent is R. Hypotenuse is 14. So again, the unknown's on the top. So I'm going to times. R is 14 times cos 20. And if I put that in my calculator, 14 times cos 20, I get 13.2. So R is 13.2, which makes sense because one's 14, so another could be 13. Okay, let's have a look at C. Again, label. This one here is the hypotenuse and this one's the opposite. Choose your ratio, so it's got to be sine. Sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Write down your rule. Substitute. Sine 55 is the angle, the opposite is 5, and the hypotenuse is y. Now we haven't used this last little line here. If the unknown's the denominator, divide. Now I don't remember that, I remember the switcheroo because it's a silly name, so it helps me remember it. And I've got to switch those two. Y is 5 divided by sine 55. And we put that in our calculator, 5 divided by sine 55. Oops. 5 divided by sine 55. I forgot to close the bracket. Now I get 6.1. So y is 6.10, which is good as well because this side's 5 and the hypotenuse has got to be bigger.